So everyone wants to win an Assegai. So just from my perspective, I've judged now for 15 years, just a couple of hints in terms of the components to look out for and the things that the judges look out for when they are evaluating your piece. And basically I've really pulled out 7 of those and they look like this. The first one really talks just to hygiene factor. So what are the hygiene factors of entering the awards? Well, there are a couple of things. The first one is you need to enter the right category. And if you are not sure of that, please pick up the phone and speak to the DMA. If you enter into the wrong category, your entry is not moved to a different category. You actually are disqualified in that category. So obviously that is very important. Second hygiene factor is to make sure that the quality of your entry is right. Proofread it. Do not have typos. Do not have missing words. Really, it's absolutely basic. But if you enter in the Assegai Awards, it's because you're in communications. So please be sure that the quality is good. There is nothing more frustrating for a judge than to be involved with an entry that is really poorly put together. So be aware of that. I think for me what I've missed over the years, and we have good years and bad years in terms of this, is that your entry needs to tell a story. It needs to have a beginning, a middle and an end. And when I get to the end of it, I need to understand the story. I need to know the plot. I need to know what happened. I need to know why it happened. And I need to be excited and engaged by that story. So that really is also, in my opinion, a hygiene factor. And then there are a number of organizations and agencies who wait until the deadline date, which this year is the 15th of September, and then wait for the 15th of September to come so that the extended deadline is going to be announced, and that does not always happen. So hygiene factor 1, enter on time. So that for me is the hygiene factor arena, and if I think then about some of the other things that I think are very annoying. Tip 2 talks to omissions. The judges in each year actually become more sophisticated and more knowledgeable, and we have quite a number of the same judges who judge every year. So we've become very familiar with how the judging works, how the forms work. Please do not omit stuff. It is very clear to a judge if there has been an omission because there is a weakness in a particular area. So, say for example, you are entering the direct mail category. Do not give us the response rates only and not give us the conversions, because you're only generating response because you're looking to make sales. So if the responses are fantastic but the conversions are incredibly low and you don't put them in, we can see that. We immediately, so to speak, smell a rat. And obviously in terms of that, it's judged in that light. So please be careful about omissions. There are occasions where one would want to have omissions, like if you were looking for response to an event, for example, you probably wouldn't want to have a conversion to the event because it may not be formulated like that. But please work with that entry form and put in as much as you possibly can, because it actually is to your advantage, not to your disadvantage. So that takes us to tip 3, which is a straightforward one, and it says don't tell fibs. It's very clear in entry forms where there's a jump in things, where things don't make sense, where you look at the campaign and you look at the cost of the campaign and you know there is absolutely no chance that campaign could have been created for that particular figure. And then quite often we go back to the entrant and they say, oh, but that whole component was pro bono. Well, don't put pro bono in. Put in the value of what it would have been had you paid for it. Even if you indicate pro bono, that's fine. But tell the whole story and tell it truthfully. I think the next thing really talks to the visual component, and it's to say, make sure that the work is logical. We're entering this year for the first time online. So what we need to see is something that tells a visual story. It needs to be logical. The quality of the work needs to be really good so that you can get the visual message across as well as that message in words. And I think this is going to be a year of learning for all of us. I want to talk next about reading the requirements in terms of where the score is. So often when we look at these forms, we end up that the strategy section has got reams of content, too much content, overload of content. It's worth 30%. Then we get to the ROI section and there's one sentence in plus the tables being completed. That is worth 40%. Fish where the fish are. Look at the scores and make sure that you enter correctly in terms of the weighting of where the scores are going to be. My next message is don't cut and paste. We see a lot of this. You've got one entry that you think is great. You're going to enter it into 4 different categories, which is absolutely fine, but you are wasting your money if you put the same entry in for all 4. There is absolutely no way that the entry and the justification for doing a direct mailer can be the same as the justification for doing an emailer. Do not cut and paste that content, please. Make sure it's original and it makes sense. And I think from a tips point of view, that's where I'm up to. I would just really say be proud, put in work of the best possible caliber. And my question always is, if you are not enthralled by your work, by your entry, if you're not proud of it, why would the judges be? You need to really make sure that your quality is exceptional and you put in the best possible work that you can. So that's all from me, and only just to say that really good luck with 2015 Assegai Awards. I wish you all the best, and please remember, gala event on the 6th of November. See you there.